and I saw a solution. I was like, okay, so one of my wake-up moments was when I was in France, and I was working for a company, and there was a big sign, and it said polluted river. And I said to them, oh, what's that polluted river? And they said, oh, that's the textile industry up the road. This was in the early 90s. And I was like, oh, the textile industry up the road has got chemical runoff and effluent that just goes straight out into the rivers. This was in France. In 1995, there was a EU legislation which banned azo dyes. Azo is a metal mordant which causes pollution. Sadly though, all that happened was it got pushed overseas to the Far East, and they didn't have that ban. And now we have that problem, and everybody talking about it. Oh, we've got dyes that are endocrine disruptors. Yes, because we don't have that legislation, and we need to have that legislation, we need to make changes. So that was the beginning of my journey, and I thought, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. So I just thought, okay, I'm gonna work with what I've got. I'd been volunteering at Oxfam, and I saw a lot of things come in. One of the main things that came in was where we are in the UK, a lot of people would get hand-knitted Aran sweaters as a gift. And perhaps it wasn't their style, so they'd give these hand-knitted sweaters away to Oxfam, and I saw a lot of them coming in. And I'd be like, oh, okay, what can I do? I was trained as a designer. I draped them on the stand. I made a coat, and this picture here is from an exhibition called The Tomorrow People, which was for ID magazine, and it was in Florence and in London, and it was about the future. This was in the 90s. I was 27, as you can see. And I thought, right, okay, let's change the story. What can I do? I also found a company called Novatex, which were based in Denmark, and they made a really beautiful fabric, which was a organic cotton velour. What was really important, why I've got this slide in this beginning of the show, is that this company were very far ahead of the curve, and they had created a system where they actually took the effluent. So they had like a system, I went to see it, it was amazing. It would dry it out in these big beds, and they would turn it into bricks, and then they would use that to heat their factory. This is in the 90s. This was the beginning of circular design. It didn't even have a name then. We didn't have sustainability conferences. We didn't have anything like that. You know, nobody was talking about that. People would say to me, oh, your name, conscious, or they say, couscous. Is it couscous earthware? What are you talking about? You're crazy. It's never gonna work. And I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna give it a good try. And I did. And it was successful. I went from recycling knitwear to finding fabrics which were already recycled from polyester, from soda bottles which were developed by Patagonia. And that also changed the story. This is one of my best friends. She's an environmental artist, with her stepfather, who's also a very famous artist, Frank Boland, and she's wearing one of my tops from the 90s. And Frank was a big advocate of mine. He was the first person to create sustainable art. He did a piece about the oil spill on the Thames, one of the first famous pieces. He was a contemporary of David Hockney. I was very lucky that I had a studio on the same area, and he was always in my corner helping me, which was nice. So yeah, so it's like, what can we do? Here's some more of the things that I did, just some ideas. So on here you can see on the bottom left, there's a Save Our Seas using smart design. We did a design which was based on disappearing oceans, did a whole collection on that, which was about saving the environment in the Maldives, talking about the rise of the oceans and how the beautiful Maldives, can we just take a minute? The beautiful Maldives. Who's been to the Maldives? Anybody been? Yes, you know how beautiful it is. It's going to disappear if we're not careful. I don't know if anybody saw, there was a thing where they had a meeting, the ministers had a meeting underground, under the ocean, in diving suits, to illustrate the problem. This is real. We have to design change right now. And this is what we all have to work together to do. So, 23 years later, after my first collections, I was like, what are we going to do? We had a situation locally where we had trees dying, literally a thing called the ash dieback. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's a symptom of climate change. What happens is that bugs eat the inside of a tree and then it slowly dies. It's a little bit like silent quitting on your job. Same kind of principle. It sort of dies on the inside and then it's gone. And why this is the most remarkable is that for us, it was the millennial wood. So it was only planted like 24 years ago. You know, so sad. So we're like, okay, what can we do? So I thought, well, I don't want to reinvent my brand again because it's not like we need more clothes. There's so many clothes, I'm sure you're all aware of it, like mountains in Chile, mountains of clothes in Africa where they're pulling the waste out of the beach. It's just shocking and disgusting. So I thought, well, I can't make more clothes, so I'll use the archive. So what we did was we used the archive of the clothes, and then we did a fashion show, and we created a legacy project where we actually used the money that we raised to plant trees. So that's hopefully an inspiring story. This is some pictures. You can see the ash dieback here. It says, you know, what was happening in our local. This is only last year. It's not long ago. So we all have to act fast and think about what we can do and how we can make a difference. So this is up in the woodlands where we started the project of planting. And then this is my local MP. Hopefully this will play. There he is, Peter Kyle. And the reason he's planted a tree. This is the first tree he's ever planted. The reason he's in this picture is because he's not just my local MP, he's also the UK Minister for Technology, and he planted his first tree with us. So I'm like, yes, come on, Peter. You know, let's make a difference, you know, let's do it in the world of technology. Let's make positive change. And, you know, it's a moment of serendipity. And he was kind enough to come and plant that tree with us. He was also kind enough to offer an afternoon tea in Westminster to auction to the members at Soho House, which was very popular, I must say, and did raise us quite a lot of money, so we could then actually begin our legacy project with Conscious Lab of planting trees. And one of the things I'd really like to plant the seeds of is the idea that we could plant trees, make parks for people, create more urban nature together. And that could be something that you could do. You know, I'm just one small person, but you could do that too. This is an idea that's not, I don't own that idea. It's an idea that all of us could do something about, and that's something that I'm hoping will inspire you. And that's something, we just did that in the autumn last year. We physically went out, dug the earth, put the trees in, and then in the spring we did some more, and we're going to keep going. And, you know, we can all do that, which is hopefully inspiring. Now, this is another inspiring slide, because this year there was a big campaign where we were talking about nature versus nurture. Are humans separate from nature? And this is a big question. It's been going on for 100 years. And this year, after a massive campaign in the UK, humans were included as part of nature, not separate, in the Oxford English Dictionary. Now, this is quite a major breakthrough, that we are now understanding that we are not separate from nature. We are part of nature, and what we do to the earth is something that will affect us too. So it's like, because we're nature. The other picture on the right-hand side there is a shocking picture, but I've put it in because it shows something that's happened, that we've all changed. Now, this is a plastic bag wrapped around a seabird. It's a shocking picture, it's from National Geographic. But in 2017, Jamaica was one of the first countries to actually stop the use of single-use plastic bags. And that's a major breakthrough as a Caribbean country who's actually on the forefront of climate change, because they have terrible storms, they have terrible hurricanes, and this is all because of global warming. That's my nephew, he's half Jamaican, wearing our Nature Nurture shirt, which we use to raise awareness, and it's worked. I'm like, oh good, get the memes out there, make a positive change. So you're thinking, what's this got to do with me, with my technology? So my question for all of you here is, can we design a better world? And can AI help us? It's a big question. A lot of people are very scared of AI. A lot of people are all like, oh, we need to control AI. Well, good luck with that. I think the horse is already out of the bag. So let's not try and control AI. Let's partner with AI, ask it some good ethical questions and say, hey AI, what would you do? I've been doing this quite a lot. I love it. I have a wonderful conversation with AI. I say to him or her, or them, what should we do? And they come up with these great ideas, because they can scrape the entire internet of everybody's ideas and they can come up with something fantastic. And they're actually better than us. I know, hard for us as little humans. They're better than us, but they are. And it's up to us to actually recognize that and partner together and raise the ethical questions of like, what can we do? How can we make a difference? How can we make a better world? This is a beautiful slide. This is about conscious creativity and the bubble up. This is a group from India. It's called Coexistence Story. And this is talking about the migratory paths of the elephants and how people in this particular part of India, they learned to coexist with nature. Because of industrial encroachment onto their land, people say, oh, but the elephants come here. Well, guess what? Where were the elephants came first? So how can we work together? And the Coexistence Story, what happened was that they worked with the local people and they made these beautiful pieces of art which were from river weeds, for want of a better word. It obviously has a special name. And they made these enormous big elephants, and they put a huge herd of them in St. James's Park to illustrate what we need to do. We need to understand we need to put at least 30%, some say 50% of nature, for nature to live in, not just humans. I've just come back from Sri Lanka from a 3-month sabbatical, and one of the amazing things that I discovered there was that they have this amazing park called Yala National Park. It's 300 miles of parkland, which is just for nature. It's a success story. How can we build this into our technology stories? How can we tithe with our 1%? What can you do as innovators and founders? Can you help? Can you make products that can then change this story, be part of the future, make a place for nature and humans? That's what I'd like to happen, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about. Can we use green servers to power our digital footprint? I think we can. And the next thing, of course, is can we think about how we're going to make games that are green? Can we use digital world to make some new games that are not just about, oh, bang, bang, you're dead. I mean, seriously, this is the 21st century, It's time to stop that. Yeah, I know you might love it, yeah, but what do you actually love about it? You love the competition, you love the thrill, you love the achievement factor of getting to the next level. What if that was set in nature? That happens. Like when I went to the national park, there were beautiful deer. There was also a beautiful leopard. We know how that story runs. So, what if we did that? And what if once we'd done something like that, we then used 1% to fund back to the park? And then we built in an idea and we said, oh, wouldn't it be great if we gave our players the opportunity, once they reached certain levels, they got a chance to go there. They could go there for 6 weeks. They could live it themselves. They could get out of the depressed state that they're in, and they could be in real life. In real life. Not just in the virtual world, but in real life. Having an amazing experience. Being part of the nature that we all are. This idea gives me goosebumps. I hope it will inspire some gaming people out here to give it a go, to do that. Now this is obviously an AI-generated image. A tree in a bubble. Oh, it looks great, doesn't it? It's like, oh, it's so great. It's a lovely picture. So inspiring. But what does it mean? A tree in a bubble? Is that the world we want? Do we really want a tree in a bubble? Do we want to live our lives in a bubble? I don't think so. I really don't think so. No one wants to live in a bubble. We want to be part of real life. Wouldn't we rather be out in nature? Who goes out on the weekends with their dog, walking in nature? Who's got a dog? Anyone got a dog? Yes. Got a dog, another person with a dog. Dog gets you out, doesn't it? Makes you go and see nature. And when you get out there, you get these endorphins. The endorphins make you feel good. You get the oxygen, helps you to understand that you're just one small little person, and the trees, it's not a planet with humans, it's a planet with trees that humans also are part of. And that's what we need to get back to. Turn over a new leaf, bend before you break, keep growing. The canopy speaks to us all. There we go, that was short. I was going to go on and talk about design and all that, but apparently my time is up. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I inspired you, and give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. It's inspiring to see how sustainability intertwines with personal growth. Thank you very much. Now we will take a very short 10-minute break.
Feel free to stretch your legs, to grab a refreshment, or just to talk to the person sitting next to you about what you've heard so far. And remember, we're gonna meet here again in exactly 10 minutes.